So today we're going to talk about exposure. It is the overarching feature of photography. It is probably the most important fundamental that you can learn, and that's why I thought I would kick it off with exposure. Exposure determines whether your photograph is going to be composed and exposed correctly, and if you're overexposing, your image is going to be a little bit too bright in the brighter areas, and if you're underexposing, it's going to be too dark in the darker areas of your image. So the downfall, if you are underexposing an image, your blacks in your image can be a bit grainy and you'll lose detail in the colors. And if you're overexposing, you'll also lose detail in those colors of your image, and your highlights will bleed out into the rest of your image, and hence creating an image that doesn't look that good. Another really great way to understand exposure is it's the details of your pixels. So if you're overexposing, you're losing details of your pixels in the highlighted areas, and if you're underexposing, you're losing details in the pixels of the darker areas of your image. So the goal here is to find a happy medium, and most cameras will give you a light meter reading. So this is your light meter reading here. So I'll give you a demonstration on the Mark III. So to find your light meter, it's just down here under ISO. And when you change any setting, ISO, aperture, shutter speed, your light meter is going to change because each feature will change the brightness and darkness of your image. A happy medium is this small dot in the middle, and these are the stops here. So 1, 2, 3. You can be 3 stops too dark, 3 stops too bright. Anything past those areas, it's going to be way too bright and way too dark. So the light meter is actually built into the camera. It's reading the light. It's telling you, I think it could be this, but in some circumstances it's incorrect. Or if you're trying to go for a particular style of image where you're using very bright and very dark light, you need to know how to override it. So it's just kind of a rule of thumb sort of thing to find a happy medium. But if you're in broad daylight, it will always get it correct if the light is pretty consistent. If you're shooting where it's a bit shady or cloudy, you need to know if you need to underexpose a little bit or overexpose a little bit. Now that you know where the light meter is on a digital SLR camera, I'm going to swap that out for an iPhone and show you how to change the exposure on a phone. So all you need to do is tap on the visual and slide the exposure up or down. So essentially it just looks like the brightness and darkness is going down. But as you can see, when you push the exposure far down, you're losing details in the blacks. And when you put the exposure right up, your highlights get blown out and you lose the details, and it also bleeds into the rest of the image. So far too often I see people just snapping without changing the exposure on the iPhone. But what you want to do a lot of the time in most circumstances is just drop the exposure just fractionally, and you'll have a better looking image. So yeah, I hope you learned something out of this video. If you have any questions about exposure, just drop it in the comments below and I'll happily answer any question that comes my way, and I'll see you in the next one.